Hola, señor. No, 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 no. I cannot come with you.
Two of them in pursuit.
Okay, the drive will be encrypted.
There's a dozen of them, fully armed.
The movie kicks off with a ruthless mafia group storming into a high-tech laboratory, taking out all the scientists inside. Their goal? To steal a newly developed weapon that's so powerful, it could wipe out all of Europe with ease. The heist is successful, and the criminals make off with the deadly device, leaving no trace behind. Fast forward 2 days, and we meet an intelligence agent named Nathan. He's been summoned to the office of the Minister of Defense for a top-secret mission. The minister explains the situation. The stolen weapon is an imminent threat, and if it ends up in the wrong hands, the consequences will be catastrophic. Nathan is assigned the crucial task of retrieving it before disaster strikes. Without hesitation, he accepts the mission and starts forming a game plan. Nathan pulls out a picture of his go-to operative, Orson Fortune. He explains that Orson is the best in the business, never failing a mission under Nathan's command. However, the minister isn't thrilled about bringing Orson in. His fee is ridiculously high. Instead, the minister suggests using another spy named John. But there's a problem. John is already working for a rival agent, Mike. Mike and Nathan have been competing against each other for years, making him a significant obstacle in this mission. After some back and forth, the minister gives in and allows Nathan to recruit Orson. Nathan tracks Orson down in Africa, where he's currently on vacation. Approaching him directly, Nathan lays out the details of the mission, emphasizing the danger of the stolen weapon. But Orson, enjoying his time off, refuses at first. Nathan doesn't back down. He warns Orson that if they fail, all of Europe, including his family, will be in danger. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Orson finally agrees to the mission. Without wasting time, they board a flight to Madrid, Spain to get started. Upon landing, they're greeted by 2 more operatives, JJ and Sarah. Nathan introduces them as key players in the mission. JJ is a sniper with deadly precision, while Sarah is an expert hacker. With the team assembled, they kick off the first phase of their plan, intercepting a hard drive from a courier. Orson instructs Sarah to hack into the security cameras while he and JJ keep an eye on their target. Everything is going smoothly until they realize they're not the only ones after the hard drive. Nathan's rival, Mike, and his team are also on the scene, trying to snatch it for themselves. Mike's crew manages to mess with Sarah's hack feeds, but she quickly catches on and warns Orson. He immediately goes on high alert, scanning the area for any suspicious activity. That's when Sarah spots 2 men creeping up behind Orson. Reacting fast, Orson takes them down and rushes to intercept the courier before Mike's men do. Unfortunately, Mike's team gets to the courier first. Not willing to let them walk away with the hard drive, Orson engages in a brutal fight, taking out Mike's men one by one. Once the path is clear, Nathan swoops in, grabbing both Orson and the courier before making a quick getaway in their car. However, the escape takes a turn for the worse when the courier suddenly suffers a heart attack. Before passing away, he manages to hand over the hard drive and reveals a crucial piece of intel. If Nathan wants to locate the stolen weapon, he'll need to pose as the courier and meet the buyer. Since the buyer has never seen the real courier's face, Nathan's disguise should work without raising suspicion. Moments later, the courier dies, leaving them no choice but to proceed with the risky plan. Just as they're processing this information, Mike and his team catch up to them, surrounding their vehicle. Armed with a chainsaw, Mike forces his way in. Meanwhile, inside the car, Nathan scrambles to copy the hard drive's data onto his laptop. Just in time, he completes the transfer before handing over the now useless, password-protected hard drive to Mike. Thinking he's won, Mike leaves with his team, unaware that Nathan already has everything he needs. Now, with the intel in hand, the next step is clear. Nathan must impersonate the courier and meet the buyer to uncover their identity. He heads to a cafe while Orson and Sarah monitor him remotely using hidden cameras in his glasses. Soon, a man approaches and picks up the hard drive. Sarah quickly runs a background check and discovers that the buyer is Ben Harris, a lawyer working for Simon, a notorious mafia boss and illegal arms dealer. Simon is one of the most feared criminals in the world, known for selling dangerous weapons to the highest bidder. Looking further into Simon's profile, Sarah stumbles upon an interesting detail. Simon is a huge fan of a Hollywood actor named Danny. Using this information to their advantage, the team comes up with a bold plan: kidnap Danny and use him to get close to Simon. Without wasting time, they jet off to America to find Danny. Nathan and Sarah wait at the airport while Orson sneaks onto Danny's private jet. He tries to persuade Danny to cooperate willingly, but the actor refuses. That's when Orson plays his trump card, a video of Danny in a compromising situation with his sister-in-law. Fearing the scandal, Danny reluctantly agrees to go along with their plan. That same day, they fly back to Spain, bringing Danny straight to Simon's lavish yacht party. As planned, Danny approaches Simon and keeps him entertained while Orson and Sarah search for intel on the weapon's location. Simon is ecstatic to meet his idol and welcomes Danny with open arms. While snooping around, Orson spots one of Mike's men at the party. Realizing that their rival is also after Simon's weapon, Orson tells Sarah to plant a bug in Simon's private quarters while he takes out the enemy operative. Sarah successfully installs the listening device, but almost gets caught by Simon's lawyer, Ben Harris. Thinking fast, she bluffs her way out of the situation and rushes back to join Danny. At that moment, Simon invites Danny and Sarah to his villa in Turkey, offering them an exclusive getaway. Just then, one of Simon's business partners arrives, and Orson notices an opportunity to gather more intel. After ensuring Danny and Sarah are safe, Orson discreetly leaves to follow the new arrival. Meanwhile, Nathan and JJ listen in on Simon's conversation via the planted bug. From their discussion, they learn that Simon is planning to sell the stolen weapon for a staggering $10 billion. However, Simon doesn't reveal the buyer's identity. The next morning, the team regroups, trying to figure out who's purchasing the weapon. With no clear answers, Orson decides to take matters into his own hands. He breaks into the home of one of Simon's close associates, hoping to steal information that will finally uncover the buyer's identity. Sarah, as always, is on standby, hacking into the security system to cover his tracks. Orson finally got the gas flowing through the air vents. As soon as everyone inside passed out, he and Sarah waltzed in without breaking a sweat. They cracked open the safe, copied all the confidential files onto a laptop from one of Simon's associates, and grabbed anything valuable to make it look like a regular burglary. Just as they were about to slip out, two guards caught them red-handed. With no time to waste, Orson took them down fast and made a clean getaway. The next morning, the crew combed through the stolen data, but it was a total bust. No mention of the weapons buyer they were after. Frustrated, Sarah decided to hack into Simon's recent calls. That's when she found something interesting. Simon's right-hand man had been talking about the heist, and, to their surprise, he was actually a Turkish government official. Even better, he was scheduled to meet Simon the next day. Nathan immediately had a plan. Sarah and Danny would accept Simon's earlier party invite and use it as a cover to get to Turkey. Once in Turkey, Simon welcomed Sarah and Danny like VIP guests. He proudly showed off his collection of classic cars, and Danny, playing along, fawned over a stunning red model, the same one he had driven in a movie years ago. Simon, being a fan, decided to buy it on the spot. Overcome with admiration, he gifted the car to Danny, who invited Simon for a test drive. While they were out, Sarah sneaked into Simon's private quarters to hack into his computer. It wasn't that easy, though. Simon's personal assistant was monitoring the security feeds, watching Sarah in real time. Thinking fast, she hacked into the security system, first to erase her tracks before diving into Simon's files. Meanwhile, Orson and JJ were tailing Simon's right-hand man when they spotted something unexpected. Mike was also tracking him. Sarah managed to break into Simon's computer but uncovered a major disappointment. The weapon Simon was dealing with wasn't some high-tech experimental firearm, just a batch of AK-47s. The entire investigation had been chasing the wrong lead. Nathan, frustrated, ordered Orson to call off the mission, but Orson wasn't convinced. He believed Simon was still involved in something much bigger and refused to back down. Things got messy fast. Ben Harris, one of Simon's top guys, realized he was being followed and tipped Simon off. JJ intercepted the message and warned Orson to retreat, but Orson wasn't ready to let go. A fight broke out, and Ben tried to escape on a motorcycle. Orson gave chase, leading to a high-rise building where Ben slipped into an elevator to the rooftop. Orson sprinted up the stairs after him, but by the time he got there, Ben was gone. Looking down, Orson saw a body lying lifeless on the ground. For a moment, he thought Ben had jumped, until he realized he'd been tricked. When he turned, Ben attacked, but Orson dodged just in time. The struggle sent Ben over the edge, and this time, he really did fall to his death. JJ arrived just in time to clean up the mess and get Orson out of there. Back at HQ, the team was regrouping when Nathan got a crucial call from the defense minister. Simon wasn't in possession of the advanced weapon, but he had the encrypted password needed to activate it. Apparently, he had tasked Ben Harris with selling this password to the weapon's actual owner. The best part? Simon still had no idea Ben was dead, and the buyer had never met Ben in person. Seizing the opportunity, Orson decided to impersonate Ben Harris. Disguised, he set up a meeting with the buyer and called Simon for the password, while Sarah altered his voice in real time to sound like Ben. The ruse worked. Simon, believing he was speaking with Ben, gave him the code. The deal was set, and Orson was taken to the transaction site. Unbeknownst to the buyers, JJ was positioned as a sniper for backup. But just as Orson was about to claim the weapon, two of Simon's men recognized him from their earlier fight. Gunfire erupted. JJ took out several threats, but Orson barely escaped. A helicopter appeared out of nowhere and launched an attack. With no options left, Orson surrendered, only to find out his captors were Mike and his agents. Mike not only seized the weapon, but also executed the arms dealer on the spot. Meanwhile, Sarah and Danny, who had been captured earlier, made a daring escape. Just when it seemed like Orson was doomed, JJ sniped down Mike's men, giving him an opening to flee. At the same time, Simon finally realized that Ben Harris was dead and that Sarah had hacked his system. Furious, he ordered his men to hunt her down. A wild chase broke out, but Sarah managed to send one of Simon's vehicles flying into a ravine before she and Danny finally lost their pursuers. Orson and JJ, now in a helicopter, got word that Sarah and Danny were in trouble. Thinking fast, Orson launched a missile at Simon's men just as Sarah's car exited a tunnel. Meanwhile, Nathan had a shocking revelation. Mike wasn't working for the government. His true goal was to steal the advanced weapon for his own agenda. With everything spiraling out of control, Orson made a bold move. He approached Simon with an offer to team up. Nathan wasn't thrilled, but Orson convinced him it was the best shot at taking down Mike. Simon initially refused, still angry about Orson's past betrayals. But Danny worked his charm and got Simon to agree. That night, Simon and Danny met with the weapon buyers while Orson, JJ, and Sarah launched an attack on Mike's base. Sarah hacked the security feeds, giving them the upper hand. Meanwhile, Simon crashed Mike's deal and stirred up chaos, forcing Mike to turn against his own business partner. The situation exploded into an all-out brawl, leading to their mutual destruction. By the time Orson arrived, the room was littered with bodies. But before he could process what had happened, Mike, barely alive, lunged at him. Tired of all the games, Orson finished him off once and for all, securing the stolen weapon. The next day, the team regrouped in Doha. Orson handed the weapon over to Nathan, officially closing the mission. Nathan, impressed, offered them another job with triple the pay. But Orson just grinned. After everything they'd been through, they had earned a much-needed break. With their new alliance with Simon, they decided to enjoy a well-earned vacation in Turkey. And just like that, another wild adventure came to an end, for now.